Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here today. And we start our short presentation with a movie. So we are Mutabor, and we boost change for brands. We are specialists for brand development and realize projects in brand strategy, brand design, and brand implementation. As warm-up, we brought you 3 striking examples so that you understand what we did the last 25 years before AI. So we are the agency behind the relaunch of Kleinanzeigen this year, and the design works with a new color scheme, and of course, and that is the theme of our keynote today, a new imagery. Second, we also realized the relaunch of Sixth Leasing, which is now called Elaine, and also comes with a new design and new imagery. And why football always works very good in brand presentations, we brought you our all-time brand shaper, the Bundesliga, where the imagery is driven by the pictures of the football clubs in the Bundesliga. These examples should give you a feeling about our business and topics of the past. Brand development is always about the future, about new trends, about new narratives and new technologies. And since the beginning of AI is the disruptive force next to us that has a massive impact on everything we do and think. The new design of the Bundesverband Digitale Wirtschaft, who is the host of this event, is already strongly influenced by AI technology, and my partner in crime, Burkhard Müller, will now tell you why this is so inspiring.
Thank you. So, as you can see, that was the old logo on the left side of the BVDW, and we redesigned everything. We created a new logo, new typeface, new layout system, and as they positioned themselves as the designers of the future, we created an imagery world that reflects this positioning as designers for the future. As you can see, it's very AI-ish from its style. But before we come to the AI solution, part of every branding that we create, everything you also saw before, is that we write a guideline, a manual, how to use every asset, like how you use the logo, the imagery, the typography, the icons, how you create an image. For example, when you create something for the website or when you create a booklet, everything is in a manual because we as Mutabor, our job ends when we have created it once. But then we hand it over to the company that they internally can work with the brand. And as you can imagine, here starts the reality. Because in most cases, in the companies that we hand over these guidelines, there are not educated designers working with these manuals. In most cases, these are, for example, project managers that do a great job, but these project managers maybe have 1 or 2 hours a day to maintain the website or to maintain social media. So the reality is we come very quickly from a nice vision like the website, like we designed it, to something like that. So people can't follow the guidelines. They go for something like stock images, and you quickly are out of the branding. So obviously, as we have a very AI style, our first idea was, OK, maybe we could hand over just tools like Midjourney and tell them how you can use Midjourney to create images like that. But without guidance, you maybe create nice images, but they are still not on brand.
So what we learn here is that brands need control, because brands have to be aligned with the corporate guidelines, with the company guidelines, with any political themes inside the company, with the actual campaigns, or with something else what's going on. And this is what we perfectly can manage with AI. We would now show you how we empower brands to the next level of control.
Okay, let's make it a little slower. What we did was, or what we didn't do, was that we took the imagery and wrote manuals how to create in a photo shooting or with an AI tool, how to recreate images like this. What we did was we took all the images we did for the BVDW and trained an AI in a way that everything this AI generates can only be in the style of BVDW. And this is a huge change for the user, because the user doesn't have to describe how the image should look, like the lighting, the color, stuff like this, how the lenses should be. The user only has to describe what he or she wants. For instance, when someone at the BVDW wants an image, maybe for social media, of a manager in front of a whiteboard for any random social media posting, you get plenty of examples, and they are always in the style of the brand.
And this works for any brand. So what we did for today is that we've trained our AI model on different brand styles to then show you our role model, the manager in front of a whiteboard, in any brand style would look like. So when IBM would use our tool, it maybe look like this. When BMW would use it, and perhaps anyone has seen the actual new Neue Klasse campaign from BMW that was launched via the IAA last week, it would look like this. Or when gorillas, it would use it, it would look like this. So what we learn here is the more memorable the style of a brand imagery is, the better it works. Apple has a very typical style for people presenting at the WWDC in San Francisco. And so the manager in front of a whiteboard would look like this in Apple style. And what's really amazing for me, I've learned or was studying graphic design 100 years ago, that it also works for illustrations as well. Here you can see our conceptual work for Slack or for Airbnb.
And this not only works with persons in front of a whiteboard or something like this. Based on how we train the model, you can do anything. You can go for objects, for architecture, for any kind of scenery you can think of. We just have to train the AI how the stuff looks once, and then you can create anything. So you maybe want to see how the tool works live. This is a live screencast. When you are part of it, you just need to enter your mail address. You get a magic link, so no registration needed. You just enter the magic link, and then you are in. It automatically detects what brand you are associated with. And here in this example, I want an image of diverse people wearing future clothes. change the settings to landscape images, click create, and I get the image. So as you have seen, you directly get images in the style of the brand. I didn't have to describe how the style should be, like you know it in Midjourney. So as a non-educated designer, I can simply write what I want, and I get any image I can think of. It's just my imagination is my limitation for it. And I always get it on brand and can directly use it for social media, for my website blog, etc., etc. And when you go now on the BVDW website, you can see that all the images are in style. And this is really great from a designer's perspective, that you don't release something, have a nice concept, but in the end, because of stock imagery, you have the design falls apart. And this is useful not only for associations like the BVDW. This is really useful for any brand. And maybe we often have these conversations, and please don't get us wrong, we don't want to get rid of artists, photographers, illustrators. But for every brand, there are these 80% of content where you just recycle what you already have, where you don't make a photo shooting or stuff like this. We focus on these 80% where you use stock images or already existing content and generate this. And this can be useful for your website blog, for social media, for presentations, employer branding, for your newsletter, etc., etc. Anything you can think of. And this comes with a lot of benefits because obviously you create content on brand very fast. You have your non-designers empowered within your company who can now create much, much better quality. This saves you a lot of time and cost. And this is the obvious question. Also, the data is safe because we are working in a safe environment. You can host it in your intranet or on one of our servers who is GDPR conform. So it's absolutely clear. And as we train the data, also the matter of usage rights is very easy to clarify.
Yeah, we so come to the end of our keynote. AI imagery is the first chapter to a new way of brand development and brand management. We see a lot of potential to create all typical brand assets in the future with AI. Brand assets like typography, color schemes, graphics, and all this stuff you need to make a brand look typical. So let's start the journey. If you would like to get in contact with us, please use this QR code. It will lead you to an email, and we can then arrange an appointment. Later on, we will be on the booth of the Bundesverband Digitale Wirtschaft to meet you face to face. So at the end of our keynote, I would say thank you. Thank you to the organizer who invited us here on stage, the Bundesverband Digitale Wirtschaft. And thank you to our development partner, Astra from Munich, who made this vision happen. Thanks very much.